The night of Samhain is unlike any other on the turning wheel of the year, for it carries within it a stillness that bends the flow of time itself. It is not simply another date marked on a calendar, nor a festival to be celebrated and forgotten. It is a living threshold, a liminal point where endings and beginnings meet, where life and death walk side by side. To step into Samhain is to step into a pause in the heartbeat of the world, a moment when the ordinary rhythm of existence slows, softens, and reveals its hidden layers. It is here, in this sacred stillness, that time ceases to be linear and becomes circular, a spiral weaving past, present, and future into one eternal pattern. The ancients knew this truth intimately. For the Celts, Samhain was not the end of the harvest alone, but the end of the year itself. It was the place where one cycle closed and another began, a hinge on the great cosmic wheel. They did not fear the night. They revered it, understanding that endings are never true endings, but the fertile ground of rebirth. They lit great fires to hold back the chill, but those flames also burned as beacons, guiding the spirits of the departed back into the circle of the living for one sacred night. Food and drink were placed upon doorsteps and altars, not as empty gestures, but as offerings of hospitality, tokens of memory, and reminders that family extends beyond the boundary of flesh. To stand in the night of Samhain is to sense that the world itself holds its breath. The air carries a weight, not of dread but of presence. Every shadow seems deeper, every silence heavier, and yet within that darkness there is comfort, as if unseen eyes are watching with kindness. The ancestors walk close, brushing the edges of perception, felt in the chill upon the skin, the sudden memory that rises unbidden, the faint echo of a voice long gone yet unmistakably familiar. In these moments, we know that time has loosened its grip. What has been and what will be are not distant. They are present, alive, moving within the circle of now. This is why Samhain is called the time when the veil grows thin. It is not imagination. It is an ancient awareness passed down through generations, a recognition that there are moments when the fabric of the world stretches and softens, when the separation between here and beyond grows transparent. On this night, thresholds open, the gates between realms do not vanish, but they no longer stand firm. The living may reach out, and the departed may draw near. It is the season of remembrance, the time of communion, the sacred night when the bond between generations is renewed. Yet there is another truth hidden in this stillness. Samhain is not only about the past, not only about honoring those who came before, it is also about the future. For when time opens, it opens in every direction. The Celts saw omens in the fire, visions in the embers, prophecies in the movements of smoke and flame. Dreams at Samhain carried weight, for the voice of tomorrow could be heard in the silence of the night. In this way, the festival was both a farewell and a beginning, both a closing and a promise. To sit in the stillness of Samhain is to hold in your hands the entire cycle of existence, to know in your bones that death and birth are two breaths of the same eternal song. To experience Samhain is to stand with one foot planted in the living world and the other touching eternity. It is to feel the earth beneath you and the mystery above you, and to realize that you are not apart from this rhythm but a part of it. The stillness is not emptiness, it is fullness. It is the gathering of every life that came before you, every heartbeat that carried you here, every choice that shaped the present moment. It is the breath of the ancestors at your shoulder, the watchful gaze of spirits in the dark, the reassurance that no one truly walks alone. The night when time stands still is not meant to frighten, but to awaken. It calls us to remember that we are threads in a vast tapestry, woven together with the living and the dead, the past and the future, the light and the shadow. It calls us to honor the stories that shaped us, to recognize the presence of those unseen, and to walk with reverence into the cycle that continues beyond our sight. Samhain is the reminder that life is not linear, that we are not separate, and that within the stillness lies the greatest mystery of all. The veil is more than a metaphor. It is a living presence, a subtle membrane between worlds that breathes and shifts with the seasons. At Samhain, this veil is not torn away. It is thinned, softened, and made permeable. Imagine it as a fabric stretched across the threshold of the seen and the unseen, woven from energy, memory, and intention. On ordinary nights, it is dense and firm, keeping the realms apart. But when the wheel turns to Samhain, when harvest ends and darkness deepens, the veil becomes sheer. The unseen does not vanish. It simply waits, and on this night it leans closer, pressing against our world until its presence is undeniable. The ancients sensed this with instinct. They did not need explanations of energy or vibration. They felt it in their bones, in the way the air grew charged, in the silence that settled heavy over the land. They knew the veil was alive, shifting with the cycles of nature. In the bright months, it was strong, keeping the spirit world at bay. But as the year waned and the nights grew long, its threads loosened. The season itself wove an opening, reminding the living that the world of spirit is never far, only veiled. To call it a veil is to name it gently, but its power is anything but soft. When it thins, all that is beyond presses closer. The ancestors walk with reverence, but so do wandering spirits, fragments of sorrow, and echoes of what has been left unresolved. This is why the veil must be approached with caution, not with fear, but with respect. It is not a door to fling wide in curiosity. It is a threshold to be acknowledged, a living boundary that responds to intention. To approach it with reverence is to be met with clarity and guidance. To treat it carelessly is to invite confusion and unrest. The veil is not static. It is not a simple barrier separating two distinct places. It is an energetic field, a liminal space that is part of both realms at once. Those who are sensitive can feel its texture in their dreams, in the stillness of meditation, in the sudden awareness that they are not alone. At Samhain, that awareness grows sharper. A whisper may slip through, a vision may appear in the flicker of candlelight, or a memory may rise so vividly it feels alive. These are not coincidences. They are the veil breathing, offering glimpses of what lies beyond. Understanding the veil as a living force changes how we meet it. Instead of imagining a solid wall, we learn to recognize it as a threshold that moves with us, responding to how we step toward it. With every breath of intention, we shape the way it opens. It does not belong to us, nor can it be commanded, but it can be honored. Offerings of light, food, or song are not rituals of superstition. They are acts of alignment, gestures that remind the veil that we come with respect, not demand. Samhain invites us to remember that the veil is not an obstacle but a bridge. It does not separate us from our ancestors. It connects. It allows us to listen, if we dare, to the wisdom carried across generations. It invites us to see that the line between life and death is not absolute, but a place of passage. The veil itself is the guardian of that passage, and when treated with reverence, it opens safely, allowing only what serves the highest good to step through. When we speak of opening the veil at Samhain, we are not speaking of breaking a barrier. We are speaking of standing at the threshold with reverence, acknowledging that the unseen is alive, that the ancestors are near, and that the worlds are never truly apart. We are not creating magic, we are aligning with it. We are not calling power, we are remembering it. The veil is the breath of the unseen world, and at Samhain it exhales, touching us with its mystery. When the veil thins, the ancestors draw near, and they rarely come in silence. Their presence is woven into subtle signs that brush against the senses, signs that are easily dismissed by those who rush through life, but impossible to ignore for those who pause and listen. To recognize these moments is to open yourself to communion, to understand that Samhain is not about calling them forth with force, but about perceiving when they are already at your side. Often the first sign is a shift in the air. The room grows heavier or lighter, the atmosphere charged in a way that defies explanation. A sudden stillness falls, or a current of energy brushes across the skin like a cool hand. This is not imagination, but memory in motion, the subtle touch of a presence that lingers just beyond sight. The body responds before the mind can rationalize. A fragrance long forgotten may rise suddenly, carried on no breeze, tied to no source. The smell of earth after rain, the faint trace of tobacco, the perfume of flowers once placed on their altar, all are ways in which memory becomes tangible. These scents are not tricks of the mind. They are echoes carried through the veil. Remind us that the bond between generations is never severed. Dreams, too, are fertile ground for ancestral presence. On Samhain night, they grow vivid, layered with symbolism, filled with voices that speak clearly or scenes that replay moments long past. These dreams often leave behind a weight of significance, a feeling that they are not fantasy but visitation. In them, the ancestors walk freely, sharing warnings, offering comfort, or simply showing that they are near. To dismiss these dreams as imagination is to close the very door they have chosen to open. But perhaps the most profound signs are found in sudden emotions and memories. You may feel an unexpected swell of grief, love, or longing, a wave that rises without cause. You may remember a story or a face you had not thought of in years. These moments are not accidents. They are whispers from beyond, memories stirred so that the ancestors may be present in you again. In that memory, they live, and through that memory, they walk the earth once more. To recognize these signs is to enter into dialogue. It is to say, I hear you, I see you, I honor you. Too often, we expect communication to be dramatic, a voice in the dark, or an apparition at the door. The truth is gentler. The ancestors speak through the subtle, the quiet, the ordinary, made sacred. Their language is one of sensation, memory, and intuition. Those who learn to listen find that the veil is never fully closed. That connection is always possible, though clearest at Samhain. The signs of ancestral presence are not meant to frighten but to comfort. They are reminders that death is not erasure, that love endures beyond flesh, and that the bond of blood, spirit, and memory is stronger than time itself. To walk into Samhain with open senses is to walk surrounded, not by emptiness, but by family. The ancestors come not as strangers, but as companions, reminding us that we are part of an unbroken chain. Intention is the key that shapes every encounter with the veil. Without it, the act of opening becomes a hollow gesture, a door left swinging without purpose. With it, the veil itself responds, shaping what comes through and what remains beyond. At Samhain, when the boundary between worlds grows thin, it is not the ritual tools or the chants alone that ensures safety. It is the clarity of the heart, the firmness of the will, and the purity of the purpose carried into the night. To open the veil without intention is to drift. It is like setting sail on a vast sea without direction, at the mercy of every current. The seeker may call and something may answer, but without clarity, they cannot discern whether it is a voice of guidance or a shadow-seeking refuge. Intention sharpens the path. It declares, this is why I come. This is what I seek. This is the boundary I hold. When spoken or silently held, it becomes a shield as well as a beacon. The spirits hear it. The ancestors respect it. The veil itself bends to it. Intention begins with truth. The seeker must ask, why do I wish to open the veil? If the answer is spectacle, curiosity, or fear, then the practice becomes unstable. If the answer is remembrance, guidance, or healing, then the foundation is steady. The veil is not deceived by words. It responds to the energy beneath them. A whispered prayer of gratitude carries more power than a chant recited without sincerity. A candle lit with love burns brighter than any fire lit with haste. Intention is also the force that decides what enters. To open with clarity, I invite only those who come in love, only those who walk in light, only those who carry wisdom. Creates a boundary stronger than any herb or stone. It is the difference between being overwhelmed and being guided. The unseen world does not impose itself without permission. It listens for the signal, and intention is that signal. It is the call across the veil that determines who answers. More than this, intention directs what we take from the encounter. Without it, even a meeting with the ancestors may leave the seeker unsettled, unclear about the meaning of what they have seen or heard. With it, every vision, every whisper, every dream finds its place. A question asked with sincerity is often answered in ways that ripple through days and weeks to come. Intention ensures that what crosses the veil does not scatter, but roots, shaping the seeker's path long after Samhain's night has passed. The old ways taught that magic was nothing more than will shaped by focus. This is the essence of intention. It is not grand gestures, but steady clarity, not complicated rituals, but honest direction. When you enter Samhain, you carry with you the weight of your purpose. That purpose becomes the lantern that lights the way, ensuring that the path through the thinning veil is not a stumbling in the dark, but a guided passage. To honor the veil is to walk with intention. It is to say, I do not come blindly, I do not come aimlessly, I do not come demanding, I come with respect, with clarity, with purpose, and in that declaration, the unseen world responds in kind. Close your eyes and imagine yourself standing on the edge of two worlds. Behind you lies the familiar rhythm of the living, the weight of daily concerns, the known patterns of time. Before you lies a vast expanse of mystery, the unseen realm where voices of the past linger and the wisdom of the ancestors waits. Between the two, like a silver mist, stretches the veil. Tonight, at Samhain, it has thinned, and you are invited to step closer. But you do not walk alone, for protection surrounds you, and intention guides every breath. As you breathe deeply, feel the ground beneath your feet anchoring you to the living world. Imagine roots descending from your body into the earth, holding you steady no matter what moves around you. Above, the sky opens, vast and dark, the moon casting her silver glow upon your path. A candle flickers at your side, its flame strong and unwavering. You are safe within its circle of light, safe within the circle you have created. Now, with your heart calm and your spirit clear, step forward in imagination until you stand at the veil. It shimmers before you, not as a barrier, but as a living fabric woven from memory and energy. You can feel its pulse, soft and steady, like the breath of a sleeping world. Place your hand upon it and notice how it yields gently beneath your touch. There is no fear here, only reverence. You are not tearing the veil open. You are listening at its threshold, waiting to see what may pass through in kindness. Whisper silently or aloud your intention. Call upon your ancestors, those who carried you here, those whose love still lingers in your blood and bones. Invite only those who walk in light, only those who come in love, only those who seek to guide and not to harm. As the words are spoken, feel the veil respond. It stirs like fabric in the wind, parting only slightly, only enough for safe passage. Out of the mist, a presence begins to form. Perhaps it is a familiar face, perhaps only a sense of warmth or recognition, perhaps nothing more than a feeling of being seen. Trust what arises. The ancestors do not always appear as they once did. Sometimes they arrive as voices, sometimes as memories, sometimes as silence filled with meaning. Do not force, do not demand, only receive. Allow yourself a moment to ask, to listen, to feel. If there is guidance you seek, speak it now within your heart. If there is gratitude you wish to give, let it flow like breath. The veil is open, but only in this sacred space, only with this clarity. You are protected, you are guided, you are in communion. When the moment feels complete, give thanks. See this presence recede. See the mist of the veil drawing closed again. It does not vanish. It simply becomes firm once more, its threads tightening as the worlds return to their places. Step back from the threshold. Feel the earth beneath you, the weight of your body, the steadiness of your breath. The candle still burns, its flame strong, reminding you that you are here, alive, whole, grounded. Carry with you the memory of what you experienced, whether it was words, visions, or only silence. Know that the veil responded. Know that you were heard, and that what was meant for you will continue to unfold in the days ahead. Your own world, safe and strong. The ritual of Samhain is not about complexity or grandeur. It is about sincerity, about weaving the unseen into the fabric of the present moment with respect and care. To open the veil safely requires no elaborate tools, no arcane language, only intention shaped into action. The ancestors do not ask for spectacle. They ask to be remembered. They ask to be honored. They ask to be welcomed home for a night, a place where you will not be disturbed. The setting matters less than the spirit with which you prepare it. Light a candle and let its flame stand as both beacon and guardian. The fire is the heart of Samhain, the element that keeps the shadows at bay and invites the ancestors forward. Place before it something of meaning, a piece of bread, a cup of drink, a flower, or a simple stone veil, not as payment, but as recognition. It says, I have not forgotten. Sit with the flame and breathe. Speak aloud the names of those you remember, or if names escape you, speak simply to your ancestors as a whole. Invite them with words of welcome, shaping the intention clearly. I open this space to those who come in love. I honor those who walked before me. I seek only guidance and blessing. Speak as though to a guest you long to see again, with warmth, with respect, with clarity. Once the invitation is given, listen. Do not expect thunder or visions to overwhelm you. More often, the response is subtle. A shift in the air, a sudden calm, a wave of memory or emotion. Trust what arises. If nothing comes, know that silence is also communication. A reminder that presence does not always need words. The flame, resting in the knowledge that you are not alone. When you are ready, give thanks. Speak your gratitude aloud, whether or not you felt a response. The act of honoring is complete in itself. Extinguish the candle or let it burn down safely, releasing its light as a final message across the veil. If you gave food or drink, leave it outside as an offering to the earth, returning the gift to the cycle. Token of remembrance, a reminder that the connection endures. What matters most is closure. Do not leave the veil ajar. When you end the ritual, end it fully. Say aloud that the space is closed, that only what belongs to you remains, that all other presences are released with respect. Feel the circle draw inward, the air lighten, the earth beneath you reclaiming your weight. Of food or a simple gesture of touch to your body. This seals the passage and restores balance. This ritual is simple because truth is simple. The veil opens not through force, but through respect, not through fear, but through love. By lighting the flame, by giving the offering, by speaking the names, you have walked in the footsteps of those who came before, and in doing so, you have kept the bond unbroken. Samhain is not about summoning the dead, they live in us, and that for one night, the space between is thin enough for us to feel it. To open the veil is a sacred act, but to close it is an act of equal importance. The ancients knew that thresholds are never left unattended. Doors that are opened must be sealed again, and the unseen world, once welcomed, must be thanked and released. Closing the veil is not about rejection. It is about respect, that the living return to their world and the spirits to theirs, both honored in their place. When the ritual or meditation is complete, pause before you move away. Feel the presence of what you have called, whether it was strong or subtle, and speak gratitude aloud. Thank the ancestors for their nearness. Thank the guardians for their protection. Thank the veil itself for allowing the passage. These words are not mere formality, that the encounter is concluded. Just as you would not leave a guest without farewell, you do not leave the unseen without closure. If a candle was lit, it becomes the center of this act. Watch its flame one last time, then extinguish it with intention. As the smoke rises, imagine it carrying your gratitude across the veil while sealing the threshold shut. If food or drink was offered, do not keep it for yourself, gift rather than consumption. In this way, nothing remains open, nothing is left unresolved. The body, too, must return fully to its own world. To close the veil safely is also to ground yourself. Eat something simple, drink water, touch the earth with your hands or feet. These acts may feel ordinary, but they are powerful from the edge of the threshold into the steadiness of the living world. There is no need for fear if closure is done with clarity. The ancestors respect boundaries, and the veil, once acknowledged, responds to dismissal. What lingers is not restless energy, but memory. A sense of having walked through something timeless and returned unchanged in form yet deepened in spirit, and you walk forward whole. By closing with honor, you affirm that opening the veil is not a reckless invitation, but a conscious dialogue. You show reverence for both realms, refusing to bind spirits to you, refusing to wander aimlessly between worlds. Instead, you walk with strength, knowing that you can approach again when the wheel turns, but that for now, the door is shut, the circle complete, the threshold quiet once more. Continuity. To walk with the ancestors is not to linger in death, but to understand that life itself is a cycle that never truly breaks. When the veil opens, we are offered more than contact. We are offered perspective. We are shown that every choice, every breath, every story is part of an unbroken chain stretching backward into the mists of time and forward into futures we cannot yet see. The ancestors are not relics of the past, our blood, our memories, and our dreams. To honor them at Samhain is to affirm that we do not walk alone. Their courage flows through us. Their wisdom whispers in the silence. Their mistakes warn us, and their love sustains us. The veil thins only for a night, but the bond it reveals is eternal. Even when the threshold closes, the connection remains. Every day we carry their stories. Every step we take is also theirs. A night of fear, but a night of belonging. It reminds us that we are a part of something larger, something older, something that will endure long after we are gone. To open the veil with care is to step into the truth that death is not a void but a passage, that the unseen world is not separate but interwoven, and that memory itself is sacred. The ancestors walk with us, and when we remember them, we walk with them. Light does not end when night falls. Love does not vanish when a body is buried, and spirit does not fade with time. All continues, transformed, reborn, renewed. The veil is thin at Samhain, but the presence of the ancestors is with us always. To walk in remembrance is to walk in strength. To honor them is to honor yourself, for you are their living prayer. Let the wisdom of the night steady you, and let the love of the ancestors fill you. Step forward knowing that you are never alone, that you are the continuation of a story far greater than yourself, and that one day you too will stand at the veil, not as seeker, but as guide. Until then, walk with courage, walk with reverence, and walk with the blessing of those who came before. Blessed be.